Dre has proven that he is no longer a pioneer on any level. He is merely a washed up shell of his former self, too scared to take any risk. This week on Hip Hop Stocks, music is currently down. Reason being, there's nothing going on. No new music or IPOs worth reporting outside of the plugs I met too, which turned out to be a gainer, but so small the NASDAQ as a whole wasn't affected. We did get a teaser for some new Migos, if you're into that. But if that's all we got to look forward to, then blind me now. Here's the one thing that you need to know about life. There's no staying in the same place when everything around you is moving forward in time. Either you are getting better or you are getting worse, and this week of music got worse. But honestly, I should have expected this. There's a reason why free agency in the NFL doesn't start directly after the Super Bowl. What upsets me most is that the underground has been a no-show relatively. Like, we talking around 100 mixtapes that I listened to and was only able to find one song. It's a good one, but this is what makes finding great projects worthwhile. Sifting through tons of artists who aren't prepared to drop 16 bars, let alone full mixtapes. After a month of starving, that next steak is always the best one that you had, and that's where I'm at right now. Sadly, I'm not expecting next week to be any better. We're probably looking at maybe 2 more weeks of lows before the next dope projects come out. This is where building your Spotify portfolio comes in handy. While we wait, you should have plenty of great music stocked up. If you don't have any, I will link a Spotify playlist in the description to get you through this pullback. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these stocks that are the biggest movers of this past week. Dr. Dre is down. Word has it that Dr. Dre was going to have a Verzuz battle. He was set to announce it live the night of Babyface versus Teddy Riley. And we all know that particular battle went as well as Josh Whedon's Justice League, causing Dr. Dre to abandon the plans last minute as he told Swizz, "I can't be a part of anything that looks like and sounds like that. My legacy is quality. My legacy is this." Say it ain't so. Dr. Dre flakes out on something that he said he would do. I think I need a 30-day detox to digest this news. Somebody get John Connor on the phone. Say it isn't so, Dre. And I understand what Dre is trying to say here, man. That identity is what sold him millions of headphones. But my problem is, you just bail on Timberland and Swizz? These are your peers of the alumni of hip-hop production that many people hold of the same regard. Instead of looking at this as an opportunity to upgrade something that the culture has clung to, that you could have easily found a way to market your brands with, at first sign of danger, Dr. Dre finds the exit on people that he should have more respect for. And you wonder why there are so many stories of frustration with dealing with Dr. Dre, going back to Tupac, on how he said he's taken 3 years to do one song. This is why Dr. Dre isn't notable right now. He no longer wants to put in the work to build anything. And the irony is that he missed the boat on Verzuz because of it. He had the chance to establish himself in the next wave, around the peak of a new phenomenon, and tripped over his own shoes in the name of perfectionism. Sure, he may end up doing one, but it probably won't be for a percentage of Triller. The timing won't be as good because people now have things that they can do as the pandemic seemingly is on its last legs, knock on wood. Think about it. What if it were Dr. Dre and his audio expertise that took the streams to another level, using his connections at Apple to do it and holding it at a, say, fiber wire location? That would have added to his legacy, but instead of living up to it, he cowers to any challenge that it has. Dre has proven that he is no longer a pioneer on any level. He is merely a washed up shell of his former self, too scared to take any risk. I was hoping for Dre to be part of the Mount Westmore in one way or another, but after this news, I don't even think that's a good idea. Sell this stock because it's going to be trading sideways for the foreseeable future. Questlove is up for becoming the musical director of the upcoming Oscars. This is a stock that I've had in my portfolio for quite some time that people have been sleeping on up until this point. I thought he would have got a jolt on the exchange when he became the musical director of The Tonight Show, or when he made Rolling Stone's top 100 drummers of all time, snubbed at 54th, but whatever. The Roots transitioning from studio artist to an in-house band was a hit to the equity of this stock on the Dow Jones, but it's these types of transitions that lead to longevity. This was the long play that panned out because the skills Questlove has translate to more than just rap albums. Something that new artists should take to heart. So when the notoriety and the promotion dry up, there will be other opportunities for growth. His day in and day out excellence would get recognized, eventually given the platforms that requested his services. I kept this stock long term because the only risk of it not paying off was social media. And it seems in the current zeitgeist, nobody cares about what the band has to say. Keep in mind, there should be more jumps to this stock to come, as he's gaining directorial acclaim with his debut Summer of Love that's getting awards at Sundance. Also, he's working on a Sly Stone documentary with Common, which that is mad interesting. The future is bright as long as he takes the same approach of excellence he applies to music and now focuses that onto film. You better buy this stock now because this could be the lowest that it'll be in like the next 20 years. Joe Budden is down. For those who haven't heard, all of his co-hosts have been missing/replaced on his podcast. It's news to me though, because people actually care about what the others have to say. The Joe Budden podcast, right? But it seems there ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Attitude that Joe has always had has sabotaged his own show like he sabotaged everything else that he's ever touched. With the rumors spreading that they aren't getting paid enough, Joe Budden finally addressed it, stating that this absence isn't money related. It's more about maintaining the friendships that they do have. They have not been replaced, and Joe is hopeful for the return, but the tension between them was obviously real, as there were weekly instances where fighting was suggested and the fans were picking up on it. From that point, Joe sent them home, raising the question of who is in charge of the Joe Budden podcast somehow. But after Joe said it wasn't about the money, he went on a monologue about podcasting money. So clearly it's about the money. But my question is, how much is there really? Money from views isn't as great as people think. Now, I understand why this stock has taken a nosedive because we've been here before. It is almost as if Budden takes pride in how he can tank something that was once looking prosperous. Initially, I wasn't too worried because regardless of what happens, you still have Joe Budden on the Joe Budden podcast, just with interchangeable pieces. Yes, I am undervaluing the co-host, even as I know it's their popularity on why this news make this stock free fall. But the main reason why I'm comfortable with these changes is because Joe has a proven track record. See, I'm invested in Joe Budden stock, not the Joe Budden podcast. It would be a shame if it died because he is to the forefront of a new industry, but I have no doubts he will be able to rebound to the next regardless of what it is. I would recommend placing a trailing stop option here. Basically, if things get too bad, your shares will be automatically sold. A crash could be imminent, but the moment that this stock hits rock bottom, I would buy it again and ride it back up to the promised land. NBA youngboy is down. If you haven't heard, he was recently arrested. He almost got away with it too if it wasn't for these pesky fads and that dog. We don't know a lot, but what we do know isn't good. Flashback to last year. At a video shoot, he was arrested by police as they took the money, guns, and drugs that were there. When they attempted to recover the money, they were told that it was evidence for an ongoing federal investigation. Now the feds pick him up and others who were being investigated for things up to murder. It smells like a RICO investigation. If so, they don't come to get you unless they got you. There are reasons why the conviction rate is at 95%, and not arresting until they have a strong case is one of them. There's a strong chance that youngboy don't see the light of day again. RICO carries a maximum of 20 years per count, and everyone can be charged with the same crimes. And I ask, Why are these draconian laws a thing? And why won't they apply to the organized coup of the Capitol that killed a police officer? All of those who got pulled off the planes and arrested elsewhere should have been charged with murder. Instead, it seems that they're about to make an example out of NBA youngboy. We will see as the news continue to come out, but if you hold any stock here, you should have sold it already. It sucks, but life in the game will continue to push forward. Sad to see anyone have to go through what is about to happen.